all I can say is let's get it, Israel.
Check this out. The Americas is Grenada, Israel, the Promised Land. All of these are biblical place names in Utah, including Jerusalem. Utah's nickname is the Beehive State. There is a mountain in eastern Nevada named Mount Moriah, and it is over 12,000 feet high. In Utah, not only is there a River Jordan, but it runs out of a freshwater lake into the Great Salt Lake, which is remarkably like the Dead Sea. There is also a Mount Nebo in Utah, approximately 12,000 feet high. So yes, with evidence this strong, the real Judah was in Utah. People try to say that it was the Mormons that gave these places like Utah biblical names to support their position as Jews. However, this explanation fails miserably because there are no 12,000 feet high mountains in modern day Israel. Therefore, the real Judah or Israel had to be in Utah because it fits the description of the kingdom of Judah perfectly. The name Utah is derived from the name of the Ute tribe. It means the people of the mountains in the Ute language. According to other sources, Utah is derived from the Apache name Yuda, which means tall. In the so-called Spanish language, it was said as Utah. Subsequently, the English-speaking people adapted the word Utah. There is no J in Hebrew, therefore Judah is Yuda, especially when you consider the fact that the J.
So family, first I thought these people was playing, but I see they not playing. So let me get this right. Utah is the real land, but we left the real land to go back to Africa to be sold back to the land. Let me say that again. Utah is the land. The America is the real promised land. So we left the promised land, went to the west coast of Africa to be sold as slaves just to come back to the promised land. But the Lord Yahshua HaMashiach is coming to gather us from this so-called promised land, which is Utah. Let's get to the scriptures. Let's go to Ezekiel 28. The book of Ezekiel 28. First, I thought this was a joke, but I see it's not a joke, that people really believe everything that they read. But we understand you have to fact check everything, even the books that you read. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 28. Man, we know we don't come from no Utah. Ezekiel 28. But all things must be destroyed. If it's a lie, it must be destroyed. Ezekiel 28. And your brother K. Judah gonna pick it up at verse 25 and 26. 25 and 26. And let's see if the Lord gonna leave us here in the promised land, or is he coming to gather us from this so-called promised land, which is Utah. And all these other places they talking about that we come from. Talking about America is the real promised land. Just like you got Negroes talking about Mississippi, it's the great river Euphrates. Ezekiel 28 and verse 25 and 26. And it reads, thus said the Lord God, when I shall have gathered, read that again, King Judah. When I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, then should they dwell in their land that I had given to my servant Jacob. Did you hear that, Israel? He's going to gather us from the places we've been scattered. He's going to gather us from the heathen, and he's going to place us back in the land that he gave to his servant Jacob. So why he won't just leave us here? If this the real promised land, why are you coming to gather us? Why you won't just leave us here? Verse 26, and they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses and plant vineyards. Yea, and they shall dwell with confidence when I have executed judgment upon all those that despise them round about them. And they shall know that I am the Lord God. So the Lord is coming to render vengeance on all those who hold us captives in the land where he have scattered us. Utah is one of the lands that our people live at, because we got Negroes living in Utah. But he's coming to gather us from all the places where we live and been scattered. So how can Utah be the promised land or America be the promised land when you're coming to gather your people from these places? Let's go to Ezekiel 34. The book of Ezekiel 34 and verse 11 through 16. The book of Ezekiel 34 and verse 11 through 16. Because out of the mouth of 2 or 3, we let it be established. Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 11 through 16. And it reads, For thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I, even I, will both search out my sheep and seek them out, as a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. So would I seek out my sheep, and I would deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered. And I would deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people. You heard that? All y'all who believe in this Utah. All y'all who believe in America is the promised land. These people are not playing, family. They actually teaching people this doctrine. But we know it is a false doctrine. And all false doctrine is profitable for destruction. Being destroyed. Verse 12 again. And as a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so would I seek out my sheep, and I would deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries. And I will bring them to their own land. And I will bring them to their own land. And I will bring them to their own land. No, this my land. My behind being whooped in my own land. In my own land, I have no resources. In my own land, I can't even get a loan. In my own land, I'm redlining. In my own land, I can't even live where I want to live. I can't even fly where I want to fly. In my own land, which is America. You have been woefully misinformed. Verse 13. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries. And I will bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and in all the inhabited places of the country. And I will feed them in a good pasture. And upon the high mountain of Israel should their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, and in the fat pastures should they feed upon the mountains of Israel. And I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, said the Lord God. And I will seek that which was lost, and bring again, and bring again, and bring again that which was driven away, and will bind up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong. He gonna destroy strong nations. Fat nations, meaning nations eating good off the back of my people. Fat and strong. And I will feed them with judgment. So the Lord is coming back to gather us out of all places where we've been scattered. The Lord is coming back to render vengeance on our adversaries and to gather us out of these places and place us back on the mountains of Israel. Knowledge. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30. The book of Jeremiah 30. And your brother K. Judah gonna read verse 1 and 2. Then I'll tell you when I'm gonna skip down. Jeremiah chapter 30. I keep telling y'all that too much talking make it seem real. And all that talking make my head hurt. Bring the facts or please fall back. Jeremiah 30. And your brother K. Judah gonna read verse 1 and 2. Then I'm gonna tell y'all when I'm gonna skip down. Jeremiah 30 verse 1 and 2. And it reads, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord saying. I like that. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Every time you read verse 1, it's gonna always tell you this came from the Lord. Since y'all want to say this a Gentile book, you have been woefully misinformed again. Verse 1 again. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. Jump down to verse 8 through 12. Verse 8 through 12. And it reads, for it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord God of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. We ain't gonna be in captivity under you nations no more, because the yoke is being broken. We will not be in bonds under you. The Lord is reckoning recompense to all his adversaries and enemies. Verse 8 again. For it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king, whom I will raise unto them. But we know Yahshua HaMashiach is King of kings and Lord of lords. But I know this time about Yahshua HaMashiach, because he gonna rule over Israel and sit in David's throne. Verse 10. Therefore fear not, O my servant Jacob, said the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar. Now, just leave us here. I will save thee from afar. You got it wrong, Lord. You supposed to just leave us here, because America is the promised land. Utah is Salt Lake City. That's what they said. Verse 10 again. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, said the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return. What you mean we gonna return? Why are we returning? What are we returning to? This our land. This the promised land. Utah is Judah. Why are you gonna gather us? Why are you going to return us? Return us where? We already in the land of promise. But we have nothing in our own land, in the land of promise. And Jacob shall return, and shall be at rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, said the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, while they have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. Verse 12. For thus said the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy womb is grievous. Jump down to verse 17. Verse 17 through 20. Verse 17 through 20. And it reads, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents. I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon our own heap. Why do we need the city to be builded when Utah, which is Judah's land, is already builded? All the places that is inhabited by people in the Americas is already builded. So why do it need to be built again? Think about it, family. This is what people are teaching the nation of Israel and causing our people to stumble at every wind of doctrine. But it's your job to do your due diligence, because all things are not profitable, family. But everything that's a lie, it is profitable for destruction. And we're going to destroy it. Every time a lie come up, we're going to try to destroy it the best we can. Because no lie is of the truth. No lie is of the truth. The truth is the truth, and a lie is a lie. You can't mix the truth with the you can't mix a lie with the truth, and the truth with a lie. Is either truth or is a lie. Verse 18. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be built upon our own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they should not be few. I will also glorify them, and they should not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and the congregation shall be established before me. And I will punish all that oppress them. And I will punish all that oppress them. So you have not been forsaken, Zion. Just keep your hand on a swivel. Let's go, family, to Zechariah chapter 10. Zechariah chapter 10. And your brother K. Judah gonna pick it up at verse 1. And I'm gonna tell you when I'm gonna skip down. Zechariah chapter 10. And your brother K. Judah gonna pick it up at verse 1. Zechariah 10 and verse 1. And it reads, Ask ye of the Lord rain in the time of the latter rain. So the Lord should make bright clouds and give them showers of rain to everyone grass in the field. Now jump down to verse 6 through 12. Verse 6 through 12. And it reads, And I will strengthen the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph, and will bring them again to the place them, and will bring them again to place them. For I have mercy upon them, and they should be as though they have not cast them off. And they should be as though I have not cast them off. For I am the Lord their God, and will hear them. And they of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as through wine. Yea, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in the Lord. I will hiss for them and gather them. I will hiss for them and gather them. I will hiss for them and gather them. For I have redeemed them, and they shall increase as they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. And I will bring them again, and I will bring them again, and I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria. Oh, so we still got the northern tribes, which is the house of Israel, still in the land of Assyria and Egypt. But I thought all the tribes came to Americas. You have been woefully misinformed. Verse 11, And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea. And all the deep of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away. And I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, said the Lord. This right here give me so much hope, family, that I know that the Lord is coming to gather his people. He is not going to leave us in the places where we've been scattered. He's coming to gather us from the places where we've been scattered. Doesn't make any sense to me that we was in the promised land in America, according to them. We left the promised land, went to the west coast of Africa, sold as slaves just to come back to the promised land to be slaves. They don't think before they speak, family. They are teaching things because they think it's knowledgeable and make people seem to be smart. But in reality, they reading books just to be reading books. You need to find out who wrote the book, who published the book. Because we know without a shadow of a doubt, we do not come from no land of Judah in Utah. Woefully misinformed 10 times over. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. Jeremiah 50 and verse 4 and 5. Jeremiah 50, verse 4 and 5. And let's see what the house of Israel and Judah gonna do. Jeremiah 50 and verse 4 through 5. Now, if we come from the land of America, which is the promised land, why are the house of Israel and the house of Judah going to do this? Jeremiah 50 verse 4 and 5. In those days and at that time, said the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion. No, this our land. They shall ask the way to Zion. This our land. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. So our people, we are going to look the way to Zion, which we know is in the so-called Middle East, which is really Northeast Africa. So our people, the children of Israel, are going to look with our faces thitherward because we want to go home. We don't want to stay in America. We don't want to stay in none of the places where we've been scattered. We are longing to go home. Our heart's desire is to be in our dwelling places in our land under a fig tree, eating them good grapes, strawberries, plums and peaches, oranges, mangoes, pineapples, chilling with one another, talking that good talk, chilling, relaxing. That's what we looking for, to be in the presence of our King and to have peace and being sated, that none shall make us afraid. Knowledge. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11, because y'all remember, he said that in Assyria and Egypt, he gonna bring them down, but his people gonna come from those lands. Let me see if I can find it in Isaiah chapter 11:11. This has not happened yet. You got people teaching that Isaiah 11:11 already happened. You've been woefully misinformed. It say it shall come to pass. It haven't came to pass yet. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 11. Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 11. And it reads, and it shall come to pass in that day, said the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people, which should be left from Assyria. I just read that in Zechariah. And from Egypt, I just read that in Zechariah. And from Pathros, and from Cush, that's the Ethiopians, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. All these nations I just named are black nations. And then he said the islands of the sea. Then he got it wrong to us. How we know that? Verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah, and gather together the dispersed of Judah, and gather together. Why are you gathering us? Why are you gathering us? This is our land. This is where we belong. Why you won't just leave us in our land? This the promised land. Mississippi is the Euphrates. Utah is the land of Judah. Utah, Judah. Knowledge, y'all. Verse 12 again. And they shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Now jump down to verse 15 and 16. And let's see where he gonna gather the northern kingdom from. And also Judah. Because Judah been scattered to the four corners of the earth. Verse 15. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it into 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which should be left from Assyria. I just read that in Zechariah. Like as it was to Israel in the day that he came out of the land of Egypt. So the Lord is setting the record straight, letting it be known that he's coming back to render vengeance and gather Israel. Render recompense and gather Israel. That's what the Lord is coming back to do, to set the record straight on who his people is. He's going to gather them, and he's going to wear this world out. The blood should be up to the horse's bridle. That's what the Lord is coming back to do. Set the record straight and gather his people and put them back in their own land. This is not our land, but he's going to put us back in our own land. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 19 and 20. Zephaniah 3, because the Lord is about to do something for you, Zion. The Lord is about to do something for you, Israel. Let's see what the Lord is about to do for his people. And this, what I'm about to read, should make your heart rejoice. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 19 and 20. Zephaniah chapter 3. The Bible gonna always set the record straight, and all lies are fit to be destroyed. Zephaniah chapter 3, and I'm gonna read 19 and 20. 19 and 20. And it reads, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her, and gather her, and gather her, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame, At that time will I bring you again. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all the people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord. So the Lord is going to get you a name and praise. See, you have been forsaken by all people. They despise you. But the Lord is coming back to get you a name and praise, that all the earth may know that you are the apple of Yah's eye. Nobody else but you. Let's go, family. Because we putting this to bed today. Night, night. Take a nap. Put the baby music on and go to sleep. Let's go to Romans chapter 11. Because, see, he going to get us a name and praise. But something you must understand. All Israel will be saved. Man, you talking crazy, boy. You must don't know that 2/3 going to be wiped out. This is why I tell people to understand timeline. Understand timeline. Put the pieces together in the Bible. All Israel that are alive and remain will be saved. That's why he say all Israel will be saved. We know some of our people going to lose their life during that time of testing. The time that he say, I will save thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them. So some people going to have to give their life up for this truth. But all Israel that are alive and remain is going to be saved. Let's go to Romans. And I'm going to tell you where he going to purge them at, according to the Bible. Let's go to Romans chapter 11. Romans chapter 11. You have to understand timeline. You have to understand what's going on in the scriptures. Romans. A lot of people always talking about the 2/3. How you know you ain't 2/3? How you know you gonna be saved? Boy, y'all better humble yourself down in this truth. Who told you you gonna be saved and you gonna be in the kingdom? Who told you that? The Bible saying do unto the end, then you gonna be saved. So you ain't saved right now. You ain't doing to be saved, but you ain't saved right now. Romans chapter 11. Romans chapter 11 and verse 1. Then I'm going to tell y'all when I'm going to skip down. Romans chapter 11 and verse 1, and it reads, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Y'all talking about God cast away his people. Psalms 83, all you nations came together. You sure look like the United Nations to me. That all nations sit together in the United Nations. And all came together to do what? Cut our name off forever. But Paul say, God have not cast away his people which he foreknew. I also am an Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin. Jump down to verse 26. Verse 26. And it reads, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. That shall come out of Zion, the deliverer. That shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Now, okay, Judah, you got it wrong, brother. All Israel is not going to be saved. Man, you've been woefully misinformed. All Israel that is alive and remain will be saved. But where he going to purge them at then, K. Judah? Let's go to Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel 20. And we're going to let the Bible tell you, because all Israel going to be saved. And if you don't believe me, you better go read Exodus chapter 12 and verse 50 and 51. He say he delivered all the children of Israel out of Egypt. He did not leave one left behind. He going to do the same thing in this time. All the Israelites that are alive and remain, the Lord is going to gather all Israel. But what he going to do in the wilderness, K. Judah? Let's see. Ezekiel. Timeline, family. Understanding precepts and timeline and how to get the Bible to paint the picture. Because the Bible is the truth. But just because a man lie and twist the truth still don't make it not true. It's still true. The Bible is a pure book. It's just that men of no understanding twist things around and confuse you. That doesn't mean the Bible wrong, your teacher wrong. Knowledge. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. And I have two more scriptures after this. Ezekiel 20. And we're going to let the Bible tell you where he going to purge Israel at. This is why they all going to be saved, even the rebels. But he going to do something to them. Let's see what it is. Ezekiel 20 and verse 32 to 38. And it reads, and that which come into your mind should not be at all, that you say, we will be as the heathens and as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone. As I live, said the Lord God, surely, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries, and will gather you out of the countries. You heard all of y'all who believe that Utah is Judah, and America is the promised land? He's going to gather us from the countries. Verse 33. As I live, said the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out from the countries wherein you are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness. Oh, I got it. See, all Israel going to be saved. But the Lord is going to bring you into the wilderness, and that's where he's going to purge out the rebels. How we know that, K. Judah? Verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, said the Lord God, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out, read that again, King Judah, and I will purge out, one more time, King Judah, and I will purge out from among you the rebels. There you go. So in Romans chapter 11, verse 26, when it say all Israel gonna be saved, which is a true statement, just like he did in Egypt. But not all Israel gonna get to the land. After they come out of the wilderness, a lot of them gonna die in the wilderness. And that's where he gonna bring that 1/3 out of that wilderness. 2 parts gonna be cut off their end. Because he gonna purge out the rebels. Because all Israel, which are alive and remain, gonna be saved. He gonna bring them to the wilderness. He gonna purge out the rebels. Verse 38 again. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the country. There you go. Even the rebels, he said, I'm going to bring forth out of the countries where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord God. So hold up, K. Judah. If he going to save all Israel, bring them into the wilderness, and he going to purge them there, brother? Yes. He just told you he going to purge them, and they are not going to get into the land of Israel. So why the Lord did not just allow them to die where they were scattered at? Because the Lord is a man of his word. He did not allow one Israelite to be left behind in Egypt. And he's going to do the same thing in our time, because the Lord just repeating what he already done. He delivered our fathers. He going to deliver us. He saved all of them. He going to save all of us. He brought them into the wilderness, and he purged they behind. He gonna bring us into the wilderness, and he gonna purge our behind. Knowledge. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 65. Excuse me. Isaiah 65. And verse 18 to 25. Isaiah 65. Isaiah 65 and verse 18 to 25. And this is what the Lord going to do for his people. Isaiah 65 and verse 18 to 25. And it reads, but be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and our people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and join my people. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem. I thought this was our land. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem. I thought this was Jerusalem. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem. But I thought Utah was Judah, and the capital of Judah was Jerusalem. So why the Lord is coming back to destroy his land? Because America gonna be destroyed. We know that. So why would you destroy your land that you're coming back to rule in the midst of your people? Because this is not his land. He's coming back to gather you and to destroy. Verse 19, and I will rejoice in Jerusalem and join my people. And the voice of weeping should be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There should be no more this an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child should die at 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old should be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They should not build and another inhabit. They should not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They should not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble. For they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord. This should give you joy. This should give you hope that the Lord is coming back to gather you. Let this be your daily food. Because a lot of our people believe there's no hope, but you have been woefully misinformed. You must don't know your Father. You must don't know your King. That the Lord is always working and preparing a way. And he getting ready to send his son back to gather the apple of his eye. If this don't give you hope, I don't know what will. Let's go to the last place. Let's go to Zephaniah 3 and verse 14 through 17. Zephaniah 3 and verse 14 through 17, and this will be last. Zephaniah 3. And I'm going to read 14 through 17. 14 through 17. Zephaniah 3 and verse 14 to 17. And it reads, sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. The Lord hath taken away thy judgment. He hath cast out thy enemy, the King of Israel. Even the Lord is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore if you don't clap your hands. Thou shalt not see evil anymore if you do not praise Yah. Thou shalt not see evil anymore if you don't bow before your King. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. In that day it should be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not, and to Zion, let not thy hand be slack. The Lord thy God is in the midst of thee, is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee. He will rejoice over thee. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. 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 He will joy over thee with singing. So do you see, family, that the Lord is coming to gather you from Utah and this so-called promised land that you see on the screen? It say the promised land, Canaan, Utah, Lake, and Great Salt Lake. These people have been woefully misinformed. And the Lord just destroyed what, K. Judah?
Cleaning up old doctrine.
And your brother K. Judah want to say, Shalom.
Oh, shit. Hold up. That's because the biblical Judah they speak of is... Oh, man. Utah. Judah, Utah. How did I not know that? So, the kingdom of Judah is in Utah. Okay. Oh, man, I needed that laugh.